Chris Broussard, former New York Times sports writer, Fox Sports NBA analyst, joining us live, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. So, I think it's funny. When they brought Kawhi to the Clippers, he's a great player, right? But when you put him next to LeBron, who makes everybody better, who calls out the signals, who's inspirational, and you look at Kawhi, and we're a year and a half into this thing, they're not playing well at the end of games. He was awful in Game 7 against Denver. He's missed 24 games so far as a Clipper. And now they bring Rondo in for, quote, chemistry and leadership. And deep down, I think to myself, when the Lakers brought in Rondo, they actually needed Chris. They needed about 10 to 12 points. They didn't have a dependable third scorer. They didn't trust Kuzma. The Clippers are bringing him in for leadership. And I think, what? I mean, I just look at it and I think to myself, isn't that Kawhi and Paul George? Aren't they the best two players? I mean, what do you make of the Rondo move to the Clippers?
Well, look, sometimes great players aren't great leaders. It's just as simple as that. We've seen it before. And I think people did misjudge Kawhi when he went to the Clippers. And they were expecting him to be this leader. I mean, the way he looked, you got to give him credit for the way he maneuvered that situation by getting Paul George to go there with him. It made you look like, wow, this dude is stealth. Like, he's quiet, but he knows what he's doing. And now you're like, where's that Kawhi? And so they brought Rondo in, as you said, locker room leader. This team has a few issues. One is among their players, they don't have a leader. And so they brought Rondo in to be a leader. And also, Colin, this is important, he's a leader that Kawhi and PG-13 will respect.
Okay.
That was big. Lou, everybody liked Lou, but the stench of lemon peppergate was still over that locker room and over that French. I mean, it was still an issue there. All right, so they had to, just like get rid of Montrezl Harrell, they had to get rid of Lou. And I think Rondo will help. He always plays better in the playoffs, Colin. And they have a problem at the end of games, too, as you kind of mentioned.
They do.
They put it in Kawhi's hands, PG's hands, and say, go do your thing. And they turn into an ISO team. The ball stops moving. Now you got Rondo who get them the ball in the right positions, get it moving elsewhere, too. So they should be better after in the clutch as well. I still think the Lakers, if healthy, I'm assuming everybody's healthy, that the Lakers are the best team in the West. But the Clippers got much closer and improved their chances of beating them in the playoffs.
By the way, before I get to the Lakers, let me just say this. I thought there was more player trades yesterday, I think I read, than any in 30 years for a single day. I thought Aaron Gordon to Denver was a real now, because Phoenix on the wing, a lot of these teams in the West don't line up with LeBron. They don't have an athletic wing to put on him.
Right.
I thought Aaron Gordon was a huge pickup for Denver, like a really athletic guy, which they need.
Well, I think you'll like this, Colin. I went into yesterday hoping, I didn't think it would happen, but hoping that Golden State would get Aaron Gordon. Because I thought next year he would really help them, and they got Clay back, and Wiseman's a year older. I thought they'd really be good with an Aaron Gordon. Didn't happen, obviously. To your point, though, I do like what Denver did. They basically replaced what they lost when Jeremy Grant and Mason Plumlee left by bringing in JaVale McGee and Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is a great catch-and-shoot three-point shooter this year. I mean, he's ranked above some of the great shooters in the game as far as catch-and-shoot threes. He hasn't been a great three-point shooter throughout his career, but this year he's on fire from three. He can do a little bit of playmaking, and really he improved their athleticism on the front line, which was something they definitely needed. And to your point, I'm not saying he's a stopper, but you can put him on LeBron, you can put him on Kawhi or Paul George, and he can match them size-wise, strength-wise, and athletically.
Yes.
And that's half the battle. So Denver had a great day. I think the Clippers in Denver had the best days in the West, in the league, in my opinion.
So you like this Kyle Lowry Laker thing, and I'm thinking to myself, listen, I know he's a beloved Raptor. Okay, I get that. Their standards are a little lower than the Lakers. But the Raptors are 18-3 the last 2 years without Kyle Lowry, and he's been a playoff disappointment. And that's fine in Toronto. But when you come to Los Angeles, you shrink fast if you don't deliver in the playoffs. And to me, he's a 35-year-old, and I really started liking KCP last year. I wouldn't have moved him. They just got Montrezl Harrell. He's athletic. I didn't love the Kyle Lowry stuff. I thought it was a little bit of a panic move, but you liked it.
I did. And first, let me say this, and I obviously like Kyle Lowry. But if I hear that he's the greatest Raptor ever again, I think I'm going to throw up. Like, I get it. He helped him win a championship and all that. Vince Carter is the greatest Raptor. I know he didn't get him to the finals or anything like that. Kawhi obviously was a better player than both of those guys. But Vince Carter, let's not disrespect half man, half amazing. But anyway, as far as Lowry, Colin, I think they should have pulled the trigger. I think the Lakers, the reports are that it was Talen Horton-Tucker that they refused to give up. They're willing to give up Dennis Schroeder and KCP. And I like THT. And I'm in the minority because people on other teams around the league are like, oh, no, I wouldn't have given up THT. And yet, I don't know that he's a star. If I had to bet, I don't think he's a star in the future. He's 20 years old. If I'm the Lakers, I am thinking win now. Every season we have LeBron James, it's win a championship, period. And LeBron, Colin, let's keep it real. LeBron has now had serious injuries 2 of his 3 years with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay? The 1 year he didn't have one, he got a 4-month hiatus. Okay? So this notion that LeBron's going to be great for the next 3 years, I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. It might be when he plays, oh, he's great. But he's going to get hurt as his body breaks down. That could be the case, too. So every year you have him go for the championship, and I think Kyle Lowry, in a lot of people's minds, would have put them not only ahead of everybody else in the West again, but ahead of even Brooklyn in some people's minds. That's who they got to match up with, because getting to the finals is not the goal for the Lakers. How do you match up with Brooklyn? And I'm saying it like it's matter of fact, because if they're healthy, I think they're in the finals. Yeah. So I think Lowry would have helped that. THT is for the future, and they still would have had depth. I think they're going to get Andre Drummond, which will be big for
That's
them.
good. Actually,
but I would have pulled the trigger, Colin.
Yeah, Andre Drummond I get. I mean, with AD's, history of getting banged up, AD may be a 29 to 30-minute player. That's it. And he may be a 55-game, 31-minute player. Andre Drummond, I think the Lakers do need a big. Oof. But, boy, if you and I worked in the same front office, we'd have gone toe-to-toe on Kyle Lowry because, boy, you like him way more than I do.
Everybody is disrespecting Kyle. He's still 17.6 assists and 39% shooting from 3. They need 3-point shooting, too.
You can clean out the cupboards for Kyle Lowry. He's 35 years old. Still pretty old.
Dennis Schroeder, I get everything I lost with Schroeder. KCP is up and down. He's inconsistent. And THT, he's in the future. And he's not going to be a star either. He's going to be a good player. Not a star. Come on. All right. I'm going for it now. I'm win now, baby. You play to win the game.
Well, you got that banker suit on today. You look like a guy that's closing deals today, by the way. Chris Broussard, Fox Sports. Good talking to you, buddy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.